Story 1. I've been working at Second Chance's Vintage Boutique for about 2 years now. It's a small shop in our downtown area that specializes in authentic vintage clothing and accessories. The owner hired me because I have a good eye for spotting valuable pieces, and I genuinely love helping customers find unique items. What I didn't expect when I took this job was dealing with people who think they can scam us. Last Saturday was particularly busy because we'd just gotten in a new shipment of 1980s designer pieces. Among them was this gorgeous leather jacket, genuine vintage. Still had the original tags, probably worth about $300, but we had it priced at $180. I'd spent the morning arranging the new items and making sure everything was properly tagged and organized. Around 3 p.m., this woman came in and started browsing through our jackets section. She seemed normal at first, asking questions about the different pieces and their history. She spent a lot of time looking at that expensive leather jacket, trying it on multiple times and checking herself out in the mirror. "Karen, this jacket is beautiful, but the price is pretty steep. Is there any wiggle room on it?" "Me, I'm sorry, but our prices are pretty firm. That's actually a really good deal for an authentic piece from that era. We've had it authenticated and everything." "Karen, let me think about it." She wandered around the store for another 20 minutes, picking up various items and putting them back. I was helping other customers, but I kept noticing her gravitating back to that leather jacket. Something about her behavior seemed off, but I couldn't put my finger on it. Eventually, she brought the jacket up to the counter along with a vintage scarf that was priced at $25. "Karen, okay, I'll take these 2 items." I started ringing her up, but when I scanned the jacket, something was wrong. The price that came up was $25, not $180. I looked at the tag more closely and realized it had been switched. The original tag was gone, and there was now a tag from one of our cheaper scarves attached to it. "Ma'am, there seems to be an issue with this tag. This jacket is supposed to be $180, not $25. "Karen, what are you talking about? The tag clearly says $25. That's what I'm paying." "I'm sorry, but this tag has been switched. I know because I personally priced this jacket this morning. The original tag was for $180. "Karen, are you calling me a thief? This is unbelievable. I found it with this tag on it. It's not my fault if your store is disorganized." "I'm not accusing you of anything, but I need to charge you the correct price for this item." That's when she completely flipped out. "Karen, this is discrimination. You're treating me differently because of how I look. I want to speak to your manager right now." "Ma'am, this has nothing to do with discrimination. The tag has clearly been switched, and I can prove it." "Karen, prove it. How can you prove anything? You're just trying to rip me off because you think I can't afford the higher price." I called my manager over. While we were waiting, Karen kept getting louder and more aggressive, claiming that I was discriminating against her and that she was going to report us to the Better Business Bureau. When my manager arrived, I explained the situation. She examined the jacket and immediately noticed what I had seen. "Manager, ma'am, this tag has definitely been tampered with. You can see where the original tag was removed and this one was attached." "Karen, that's impossible. I didn't touch anything. This is harassment." "Manager, I'm going to need to check our security cameras." "Karen, security cameras? For what? This is ridiculous." "Manager, we have cameras throughout the store. If the tag was switched, we'll be able to see exactly when and how it happened." The color drained from Karen's face, but she kept up her act. "Karen, fine, check your cameras. You'll see that I didn't do anything wrong." My manager went to the back office and pulled up the footage on her laptop. Within 5 minutes, she came back with a grim expression. "Manager, ma'am, I have clear video of you removing the original tag and replacing it with the cheaper one. This is attempted theft." "Karen, that's not what happened. Your cameras must be wrong." "Manager, would you like to see the footage?" Karen started backpedaling fast. "Karen, look, maybe I accidentally knocked the tag off and put the wrong one back on. It was an honest mistake. Manager, the video shows you deliberately removing one tag and replacing it with another. That's not an accident. At this point, other customers were staring, and some were recording with their phones. Karen noticed and got even more frantic. Karen, stop recording me. This is invasion of privacy. I'm going to sue all of you. Manager, you need to leave immediately. You're banned from this store permanently. Karen, you can't ban me. I'm a paying customer. Manager, actually, I can. And if you don't leave right now, I'm calling the police. She finally stormed out, but not before yelling about how she was going to ruin our business and tell everyone what horrible people we were. Later that evening, my manager posted about the incident in our town's main Facebook community group. She included screenshots from the security footage showing Karen switching the tags, along with a warning to other local businesses about her attempted scam. The post exploded. Turns out Karen had tried similar stunts at other stores around town. People started sharing their own stories about her in the comments. One person said she tried to return clearly worn clothes claiming they were defective. Another said she'd argued with a restaurant manager claiming her meal was free because it took too long to arrive. The best part was when Karen herself showed up in the comments trying to defend herself, but she just made everything worse. She claimed the video was fake and that all the local business owners were conspiring against her. People screenshot her comments before she deleted them. Within 24 hours, most of the businesses in our downtown area had seen the post and her photo. She's basically blacklisted from shopping anywhere locally now. Sometimes social media justice works exactly like it should, especially when you have cameras to back up your story. Story 2. I've worked at the Department of Motor Vehicles for 8 years now, and I thought I'd seen every type of awful behavior possible. People get stressed about waiting, I get that. But what happened last Thursday crossed every line imaginable. Let me set the scene. It was one of those busy days where we had a line wrapped around the building. Everyone was waiting patiently, families with kids, elderly folks, business people checking their phones. The usual crowd. I was working window 3, processing renewals and registrations. Around noon, this woman walked in with an exaggerated limp. She was maybe in her 50s, well-dressed, carrying an expensive purse. She hobbled dramatically toward the front of the line, making a big show of wincing with each step. Karen, excuse me. I need to get to the front. I have a leg injury. The first few people in line looked at her sympathetically and stepped aside. She kept pushing forward, her limp getting more pronounced the more attention she got. Karen, thank you so much. It's so hard to stand for long periods. You're all so understanding. She made it almost to the front when she reached the section reserved for people with disabilities. That's where she encountered him, a veteran in a wheelchair. He was probably in his 30s, wearing a baseball cap and a t-shirt that said, Army Strong. You could see he was missing both legs from the knees down. The vet looked up at her politely. Vet, ma'am, this section is for people with disabilities. Are you looking for the general line? Karen's whole demeanor changed instantly. The fake sweet voice disappeared. Karen, I have a leg injury. I can't stand in those long lines. Vet, I understand that's difficult. You might want to speak to one of the workers about accommodation. They have chairs available for people who need them. She looked down at him like he'd insulted her personally. Karen, I think I have more right to be here than someone who's just sitting around anyway. The people nearby started murmuring. You could feel the tension building. The vet kept his cool though. Vet, sir, I'm a disabled veteran. This is the designated area for people with disabilities. That's when she completely lost it. Karen, disabled? You're just sitting in a chair. I'm actually injured and in pain. She gestured wildly at her leg, which she'd apparently forgotten to keep limping on because she was standing normally now. Vet, ma'am, I lost my legs in Afghanistan. I think there might be some confusion here. Karen, oh please, half you people just use those chairs for attention. I bet you can walk just fine when nobody's looking." The entire room went dead silent. I stopped what I was doing at my window. My supervisor looked up from her desk. Everyone was staring at this woman in complete disbelief. "Vet, I'm sorry, what did you just say?" "Karen, you heard me. I see this all the time. People faking disabilities for special treatment." Then she did something that still makes my stomach turn. She reached down and grabbed the handles of his wheelchair. "Karen, come on, get up. Let's see how disabled you really are." She actually started trying to tip his chair forward, like she was going to dump him out of it. The veteran grabbed his wheels to steady himself. "Vet, get your hands off my chair right now." That's when I jumped up from my window. "Ma'am, step away from him immediately." But she didn't stop. She kept pulling at his chair. "Karen, I'm calling your bluff. Stand up and prove you need this thing." I hit the security button under my desk while rushing over there. The veteran was trying to wheel himself away from her, but she kept grabbing at his chair. Security to the main floor immediately. By now, the entire waiting room was on their feet. People were shouting at her to stop. Someone was recording with their phone. "Bystander, lady, what is wrong with you?" Another person, "Leave him alone." Security arrived within 30 seconds. 2 officers who took one look at the situation and immediately moved toward her. Security, "Ma'am, you need to come with us right now." "Karen, he's faking it. Someone needs to expose these frauds." She made one more grab for his wheelchair, but the security officer caught her arm. "Security, you're done here. Let's go." That's when she seemed to realize how bad this looked. The entire room was staring at her with disgust and anger. "Karen, wait, you don't understand. I have a real injury. My leg really hurts." She started limping again, but it was too late. Everyone had seen her standing and moving normally while she was harassing the veteran. "Security, you just assaulted a disabled veteran. You're being escorted out." As they walked her toward the exit, the veteran called out to her. "Vet, ma'am, I hope your leg feels better, and thank you for your service to our country." His sarcasm was perfect. The whole room started clapping and cheering for him. When they got her outside, I could hear the crowd that had gathered in the parking lot. Word had spread about what happened, and people were booing her as she was escorted to her car. Someone had already posted the video online. She drove away with her head down, while people in the parking lot shook their heads in disgust. The veteran got his business taken care of first, obviously. When I processed his paperwork, he was completely calm and polite, like nothing had happened. "I'm so sorry about that. Are you okay?" "Vet, don't worry about it. I've dealt with worse than her." The video went viral by the next day. She became known as the woman who attacked a disabled veteran at the DMV while faking her own injury. Sometimes people get exactly what they deserve. Story 3. I never thought I'd become one of those people who posts on Reddit about entitled customers, but here I am. I'm 17 and I've been working part-time at a local grocery store for about 8 months now. My parents insisted I get a job to learn responsibility and save up for college. The pay isn't great, but it helps me understand the value of money and gives me some independence. I started working here because my older brother recommended it. He worked the same job 2 years ago and said the management was decent and they were flexible with school schedules. Most days, I work after school and on weekends, mainly stocking shelves and helping customers find things. The work is pretty straightforward, though some days are definitely more challenging than others. This particular incident happened on a busy Saturday afternoon in early December. The store was packed with holiday shoppers, and we were understaffed because 2 people called in sick. I was working in the canned goods aisle, restocking soup and vegetables from a large cart. The process is methodical. You have to check expiration dates, rotate older stock to the front, and make sure everything is facing forward properly. It takes time to do it right. I was about halfway through restocking when this woman approached me. She was probably in her 40s, wearing an expensive-looking coat and carrying a designer purse. She had this impatient look on her face that immediately put me on edge. Karen, excuse me, where is the organic tomato sauce? Me, it should be right over here in the organic section. Let me show you. I started walking toward the organic food section, which was about 10 feet away. But apparently, I wasn't moving fast enough for her liking. Karen, can you hurry up? I don't have all day. Me, sorry, I'm moving as fast as I can while being safe around all these carts and customers. Karen, this is ridiculous. You're walking like you're 100 years old. I tried to stay professional and just focused on getting her to the right aisle. When we reached the organic section, I pointed to the tomato sauces. Me, here's all our organic tomato sauce. Is there a particular brand you're looking for? Karen, finally, when I was your age, we moved with purpose. Kids these days are so lazy. I bit my tongue and started to walk back to my cart. That's when things got really ugly. Karen, wait, I need you to get me the sauce from the top shelf. I turned around and grabbed the step stool we keep nearby for reaching high shelves. As I was setting it up, she continued her commentary. Karen, seriously, how long does it take to get a step stool? This is basic customer service. Me, I'm sorry for any inconvenience. I'm getting it for you right now. I climbed up the step stool to reach the top shelf, but there were several different organic tomato sauces up there. Me, which brand did you want specifically? Karen, oh my God, are you kidding me? Just grab them all and bring them down so I can see them. There were about 8 different jars up there. I started bringing them down one by one, placing them carefully on the shelf at eye level so she could examine them. Karen, this is taking forever. What is wrong with you? Me, I'm being careful not to drop anything. I'm almost done. Karen, you're almost done. You should have been done 5 minutes ago. This is the worst service I've ever experienced. Her voice was getting louder, and other customers were starting to stare. I felt my face getting red, but I kept working. Karen, I want to speak to your manager right now. This is unacceptable. Me, I can call my supervisor over when I'm finished helping you with the sauce. That's when she completely lost it. Karen, when you're finished, I should be finished shopping by now. You're the slowest, most incompetent employee I've ever dealt with. This generation is absolutely worthless. You can't do anything right. She was practically screaming at this point. I could see other customers pulling out their phones, but I was too focused on staying calm to think much about it. Karen, I'm going to make sure you get fired for this. What's your name? Give me your name right now. Me, ma'am, I'm just trying to help you find what you need. If you'd like to speak to management, I can call them over. Karen, don't you ma'am me, you little brat. I'm a tax-paying adult and you're just some teenager who doesn't know how to do his job. I demand better service than this. She kept yelling for another minute or two, calling me lazy, incompetent, and worthless. I just stood there and took it because I needed this job and didn't want to make things worse. Eventually, my supervisor came over after hearing the commotion. Supervisor, what seems to be the problem here? Karen, this employee is the rudest, slowest person I've ever encountered. He made me wait 10 minutes just to get some tomato sauce. I want him fired immediately. My supervisor looked at me, and I just shrugged. He knew me well enough to know I wasn't the problem here. Supervisor, ma'am, I apologize for any inconvenience. Let me help you find what you need. Karen, no, I don't want your help. I want him fired. This is discrimination against customers. I'm calling corporate. She stormed off, still yelling about how terrible the service was and how she was going to get everyone in trouble. I thought that was the end of it, but I was wrong. About 2 hours later, my supervisor called me over to the customer service desk. He was standing there with the store manager and had his phone out. Supervisor, you need to see this. He showed me a video on social media. Someone had recorded the entire incident and posted it online. The video clearly showed me calmly trying to help while she screamed at me for several minutes. The person who posted it wrote, Karen has meltdown on teenage grocery store employee for not moving fast enough. Kid handled it like a pro. The video had already gotten thousands of views and hundreds of comments supporting me. People were praising how professional I stayed and criticizing her behavior. Store manager, don't worry, you handled this perfectly. We're going to ban her from the store. That felt good, but the real satisfaction came 3 days later. My supervisor called me at home. Supervisor, remember that woman from Saturday? Someone figured out where she works and sent the video to her company. She got fired for violating their employee conduct policy. Apparently, they have strict rules about public behavior reflecting on the company. Turns out she worked for a public relations firm, and they couldn't have someone representing their company who behaved like that in public. The irony was perfect. Someone whose job was managing public image got fired for her own terrible public behavior. The video ended up going viral with over 1 million views. Most of the comments were people sharing their own stories about entitled customers and praising retail workers. Some people even started a small fundraiser to tip retail workers during the holidays. I kept working at the store through graduation and saved enough money for my first year of college. The experience taught me a lot about patience and professionalism, but also that sometimes entitled people do face consequences for their actions. The internet can be a powerful tool for justice when used right. The woman never came back to the store, which was fine by everyone. My coworkers started calling me viral guy for a while, but eventually things went back to normal. I still have the video saved on my phone, though it's a good reminder that staying calm and professional is always the right choice, even when others lose their minds. Story 4. I've been working as a lifeguard at our community pool for 3 summers now. I started when I was 16, right after I got my certification. It's usually a pretty chill job. Most families are respectful and just want their kids to have fun safely. The pool has different sections: the main pool for lap swimming and general use, a shallow end for beginners, and a separate kiddie pool for toddlers and really young kids. The kiddie pool is only about 2 feet deep and specifically designed for children under 6. We have clear rules posted everywhere about appropriate behavior in each area. No running, no diving in shallow areas, and definitely no cannonballs in the kiddie pool where tiny kids are playing. Last Tuesday was one of those busy summer days when families pack the place. I was stationed at my usual spot where I could watch both the main pool and the kiddie area. That's when I noticed this woman with her son, who looked to be around 8 or 9 years old. Way too big for the kiddie pool, but I wasn't going to make a fuss about it if he was just playing gently with the little ones. But then he climbed out, and I could see what he was planning. He positioned himself on the edge, clearly getting ready to jump in with a big splash. Me, hey buddy, no jumping in the kiddie pool, okay? You can do that in the main pool over there. The kid looked disappointed, but started walking toward the big pool. That should have been the end of it. But then his mom marched over. Karen, excuse me, what did you just tell my son? Me, I asked him not to jump in the kiddie pool. It's for safety reasons. We have really small children in there. Karen, he's a child too. He has every right to use that pool. Me, he can absolutely use it, but no jumping or splashing. Those are toddlers in there, some barely walking. A big splash could knock them over or scare them. I pointed to a 2-year-old girl who was just learning to walk in the shallow water, holding her dad's hands. Karen, my son is an excellent swimmer. He's not going to hurt anyone. Me, I'm sure he is, but the rules apply to everyone. He can swim and play in there, just no jumping. Karen, this is ridiculous. He's been looking forward to this all week. Her son had wandered back over and was tugging on her arm. Son, Mom, it's okay. I'll just go in the big pool. Karen, no, you will not. You wanted to play in this pool, and that's what you're going to do. She actually grabbed her son's hand and started pulling him back toward the kiddie pool edge. Me, ma'am, I need you to follow the pool rules. No jumping in the kiddie pool. Karen, don't tell me how to parent my child. You're just some teenager on a power trip. Me, I'm trying to keep everyone safe. That's literally my job. That's when she did something I never expected. She pulled out her phone and dialed. Karen? Yes, I need to report harassment at the community pool. There's a lifeguard here who won't let my son swim. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. She was actually calling 911 because I told her kid not to cannonball into a toddler pool. Karen, my son is being discriminated against, and this employee is harassing us. Other parents had started gathering around, watching this whole scene unfold. Some were recording with their phones. Her own son looked mortified. Me, ma'am, you're calling the police because I asked your son to follow safety rules. Karen, you're preventing my child from enjoying a public facility that my taxes pay for. The dispatcher must have been asking questions because Karen kept explaining how I was targeting her son and being aggressive toward them. Meanwhile, I was just standing there holding my rescue boy, completely bewildered. It took about 15 minutes for 2 officers to show up. By then, Karen had worked herself into a full rage and was demanding to speak to my supervisor. Officer 1, what seems to be the problem here? Karen, this lifeguard is harassing my family and won't let my son use the pool. The officer looked at me, then at the kiddie pool full of toddlers, then back at Karen's son who was clearly way too big for that area. Me? I asked her son not to jump into the kiddie pool because of the small children. He can swim anywhere else in the facility. Officer 1, ma'am, the lifeguard is enforcing safety rules. That's what they're supposed to do. Karen, but my son wants to play in that pool specifically. Officer 2, how old is your son? Karen, he's 8, but that doesn't matter. The officers exchanged a look. One of them walked over to read the posted rules while the other continued talking to Karen. Officer 1, ma'am, these rules are clearly posted. Children over 6 are supposed to use the main pool area. Karen, that's age discrimination. Officer 2, no ma'am, that's safety policy. You called 911 to report harassment, but the lifeguard was doing their job correctly. That's when my supervisor finally showed up, having been called by the pool office staff who heard about the police situation. Supervisor, what's going on here? After hearing the whole story from both sides and reviewing the pool rules, my supervisor made it clear that I had handled everything correctly. Supervisor, ma'am, I'm going to have to ask you to leave for today. Karen, you can't kick me out. I pay membership fees. Supervisor, actually, misusing emergency services and creating a disturbance means you're banned for the remainder of the season. That's when her son completely lost it, but not in the way you'd expect. Son, Mom, why did you do this? Now I can't come to the pool at all this summer. I told you it was okay. He started crying, but he was angry at her, not upset about the pool situation. Son, you ruined everything. All my friends come here. Karen tried to comfort him, but he pulled away from her. Son, I'm so embarrassed. Everyone was recording you. The officers escorted them out while her son continued crying and telling her how much she had embarrassed him. Other parents were shaking their heads, and some actually came up to thank me for keeping the kiddie pool safe for their toddlers. The whole thing was completely insane. She turned a simple safety reminder into a police situation and got herself banned for the entire season. Her kid went from being mildly disappointed about not cannonballing to losing his summer pool privileges entirely. I felt terrible for the boy. He seemed like a good kid who just got caught up in his mom's ridiculous behavior. Sometimes I wonder if parents like that ever realize how their actions affect their children. Story 5. I've been managing this small coffee shop downtown for about 2 years now. I took over when the previous manager left, and honestly, I love the job. We're not a big chain, just a local place that serves decent coffee and pastries to regulars and office workers. The best part about working here is my team. They're all college students or young adults just trying to make some extra money, and they're genuinely good people. About 6 months ago, I hired this kid who's deaf. He's one of the hardest workers I've ever had, always shows up on time, keeps his station spotless, and customers love him because he's incredibly friendly. He communicates mostly through writing on a notepad he keeps with him, and he wears a small badge on his apron that says, "I am deaf, please be patient while I write." Most customers are really understanding about it. The incident happened on a busy Friday morning. We had our usual rush of people grabbing coffee before work, and everything was running smoothly. I was in the back doing inventory when I heard shouting from the front counter. I came out to see this woman, probably mid-30s, designer purse, the kind of entitled attitude you can spot from across the room. Let's call her Karen. She was standing at the counter where my deaf employee was working, and she looked furious. "Karen, are you ignoring me?" I said, "Have a nice day." My employee was looking confused and was reaching for his notepad to write something down. That's when Karen completely lost it. "Karen, don't you dare write something down. I'm talking to you. Say it back." "Me, ma'am, is there a problem here?" "Karen, yes, there's a problem. This rude employee is completely ignoring me when I'm trying to be nice to him." I looked at my employee, who was pointing to his badge and trying to show it to Karen. She wasn't having any of it. "Me, ma'am, I think there might be a misunderstanding here." "Karen, there's no misunderstanding. I told him to have a nice day, and he's just staring at me like an idiot. It's basic customer service. Me, if you look at his badge, you'll see that he's deaf. He can't hear what you're saying." Karen looked down at the badge for about 2 seconds, then looked back up at me with even more anger. "Karen, I don't care if he's deaf. He can still be polite. He should at least try to say something back." I couldn't believe what I was hearing. "Me, ma'am, he literally cannot hear you. That's what being deaf means." "Karen, that's just an excuse. Deaf people can talk. I've seen them on TV." My employee was getting visibly upset at this point. Other customers were staring, and the line was backing up. "Me, some deaf people can speak, but many choose not to, and that's their right. He communicates through writing, which is perfectly valid." That's when Karen grabbed her coffee cup and threw the entire thing across the counter. Coffee went everywhere on the register, the pastry case, and all over my employee's apron. "Karen, I want him to say, 'Have a nice day,' right now. Say it back." My employee jumped back from the spilled coffee, and I immediately stepped between him and Karen. "Me, ma'am, you need to leave right now, or I'm calling the police." "Karen, call them. I'm not leaving until this lazy employee shows some respect." So I did exactly that. I called 911 while Karen continued screaming about how deaf people should try harder and how we were discriminating against her as a customer. "Karen, this is America. Customer service means responding when someone talks to you." Customer behind her: "Lady, he's deaf. What is wrong with you?" "Karen, stay out of this. You don't understand what it's like dealing with people who won't even try." The officers arrived about 10 minutes later. Karen was still ranting, and my poor employee was cleaning up coffee with shaking hands. "Officer 1, what seems to be the problem here?" "Me. This woman threw coffee at my employee because he didn't respond verbally to her. He's deaf." Officer 2, "Ma'am, is that true? Did you throw something at the employee?" "Karen, he was being rude. I was trying to be nice, and he completely ignored me." Officer 1, "The manager says he's deaf. Is that correct?" Karen, "So what if he is? That doesn't give him the right to be rude to customers." The officer looked at my employee's badge, then back at Karen with obvious disbelief. Officer 2, "Ma'am, you threw coffee at a deaf person because he couldn't hear you." Karen, "I threw coffee because he wouldn't respond. Deaf people can still nod or smile or something." Officer 1, "Ma'am, you're under arrest for harassment and disorderly conduct." Karen, "This is ridiculous. I'm the victim here. I'm never coming back to this place." Officer 2, "That's probably for the best, ma'am." As they handcuffed her, Karen kept screaming about how she was going to sue us and how we were all discriminating against her. The other customers actually started clapping when the officers let her out. After everything calmed down, my employee wrote me a note thanking me for standing up for him. I told him he never needs to thank me for doing the right thing. The whole incident really opened my eyes to how ignorant some people can be. We ended up getting a lot of support from the community when word spread about what happened. Several customers even learned some basic sign language to communicate better with him. Karen got fined for harassment and banned from our shop. My employee is still with us, and he's one of our most popular baristas. Sometimes the good guys really do win.